Hi, Ecclesia. Welcome to another week here. We are continuing our series in mental health awareness for this month, and I'm so excited to be able to just give you a quick introduction. We are having our very own Melanie and Melanya Harris speaking for us. We've got the wonderful and one of our leaders, Ivania, as well, interviewing with them today. I know you're going to be blessed from their perspective because they're social workers, and this conversation is needed with their perspective in it. I hope you are blessed by it, and I'll see you at the end of the service. Take care.
Hello, Ecclesia family. First of all, we want to thank you for joining us today. As we all know, the month of May is about mental awareness. Right now, I have the amazing opportunity to speak with this amazing dynamic duo. I have mom and daughter here, Melania and Melanie Harris. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Very good.
Pretty good. All right. Yeah. So if you guys can just reintroduce yourselves as well, tell us about, what you guys do and how you guys are involved with mental health.
Okay, first, my name is Melania Harris, and I'm a social worker. I began as a therapist first, and then later on I did foster care, and now I'm a clinical social worker at the hospital. I really enjoy this. It really connects me with the people that are suffering from mental health, especially during the pandemic period that we're going through right now.
Oh, awesome. How about you, Melanie?
So my name is Melanie. I'm also a clinical social worker. I've worked in the NICU. I've also worked at the school with children. So I love working with kids. So that's always been a dream of mine. So it's a really good experience.
Awesome. So how did you guys get involved? What were the steps that led you to where you guys are today? I would say. Let's start with you.
Okay. With me, you would think it was kind of weird because I was an accountant before I became a social worker. And the reason why it all happened is one day somebody knocked at my door. It was this young man. He's about 20 years old and tall guy. He came into my office and said, "Mrs. Harris, you told me I could come anytime, and I'm feeling lonely here at the university." And I said, "Okay." So we started talking, and I said, "I don't know what else to say to you, but I believe in a God. Would you like me to pray for you?" And he accepted, and that's where it all started. I prayed for him. 2 weeks after, his mom called and said, "Hi, Mrs. Harris. Thank you very much for saving my son." I was like taken aback. And she explained to me that he had told her that he was going to take his life that evening. But because he had taken the time and come to my office, and I took the time to talk to him, he decided not to do that and called his mom instead and asked for support. And she had brought him over to where she was living.
So did you know this gentleman before in any personal aspect, or just kind of the generalized of?
Well, I knew him, but not like it was like somebody I knew because it was one of the students that I had helped with finances. So he would come in my office every quarter for me to help him out with his finance, and that's how I met him. And all my students that would come in, I would say, "Hey, if you need anything, just come to my office and I'll try to help you." I thought I was going to be helping him with finance, but then I helped him out with emotional support.
So it all started with welcoming arms and just God's love that was on your heart, and you were able to share that. That's awesome.
Correct.
Yes. And for Melanie, how about for you? How did you get involved? What did you know mental health is where you wanted to kind of focus and help people?
For me, it was a long journey. I started out going to college, and I wanted to do PE, kinesiology, but during college, you're just figuring out classes, and math and biology just wasn't my thing. And so I was like, I need to find something else. So I was like, oh, maybe social work, sociology. So I took a lot of sociology and psychology and child development classes, and I found that, oh, maybe this is for me. It's something interesting, something different. And social work offers so many different opportunities to work at different places, such as school, hospitals, or child protective service, anywhere. So, I would never get bored. So it was something that I was like, okay, I can do this because I love helping people anyways. And I was helping my friends. So I was like, might as well do it as a profession and get paid for it and do something that I love and help people out. And they can, whatever they learn, they can, help other people as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Would you say your household had an impact on that? I mean, again, your mom's mentioning how she was able to help people and, the gentleman that she had mentioned. Would you say, your parents had that impact in the sense of you being at home and them being there for you?
Yes, actually, social work runs in the family. My aunt's a social worker, my other aunt's a social worker, my cousin's public health, so nurses. So we're all in the helping field. So it really impacted okay, I like helping people. I like helping out at church. I love helping out my kids and Pathfinders, just teaching them and helping them learn new skills that they can go out into the world and be like, okay, I don't have to be anxious for anything, or, I have somebody to go to, or I can look up to my parents or go to my friends.
Did you ever experience that growing up? Any moment where you felt any loneliness, anxiety, depression? Could you speak on that?
In college, first time in college, freshman year, and you don't know what the heck you're doing. So you're like, okay, I think I got this. And then you're like, nope, never mind, I don't got this. Then you grow anxious because it's something new and you don't know a lot of people. And especially if you're introverted like me, I don't go up to people like, hi, can you help me look for my classes? Or hi, what do you think, So just being able to help people, and then having that anxiety because I didn't have friends, it was really difficult for me. I was like, I don't know what to do, but thankfully, I have friends and family. They're like, hey, we can help you out. Maybe you should take these classes. Maybe this is for you. Maybe this isn't for you. But it's better to try it out and then feel it out.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So, Mom, obviously you heard daughter's example that she had went through something. What would be the steps for someone that feels like they're lonely, or they're going through some depression? How would they get started in speaking up and pretty much reaching out to someone?
I think one of the major issues that people with mental health have is that the stigma behind mental health. And this goes way back centuries before. You would call people crazy. You would say, oh, they're weird and they're different. And so one of the things that I noticed that people don't talk about their mental health issues. They're anxious, they're depressed, they're having feelings that they can't understand, and they don't want to share it with anybody because of the stigma behind it. They don't want people to judge them. So one of the first things I will tell anybody that is suffering any kind of mental health issues, anxiety, depression, bipolar, whatever it is, seek somebody for support. Maybe start in your surroundings, your church people, your family members, and then later on, if it goes beyond, then seek a professional to get that kind of help and support that you may need.
So I love how you brought up, the church. A church is a place where I know where many of us actually go. It's that home away from home type of atmosphere. How can we as a community at our church help these people that are suffering? What do we need to do?
One of the first things, do not judge them. Do not judge them. Help them through whatever they're going through. Listen to them. Be a confidant for them, that they can feel safe with you or in their environment. And also help them not to feel isolated. Help them to get closer to the other members of the church. Help them maybe to reach out to a professional, guide them through that. And one of the things that I would say to the people in church is don't have prejudice. We all come with all our prejudice, but take that aside and help this person. Be careful how we say things. Be careful how we talk about people. Also, we want to include them. Remember that mental health is only a part of their life. They're people, they have feelings. And last is treat them the way you would want somebody to treat you if you had that.
Yes, that's awesome. No, I love that. Again, it's specifically says in the Bible, we shouldn't judge. The way you want someone to treat you is how you should be treated as well. Yes, it completely makes sense. And I want to go back to that environmental aspect of welcoming people, bringing them in, especially those that are feeling lonely. How did you, or how were you able to display that in your own household?
Melanie mentioned a couple of things, but one of the things she did not mention, and I want to say that, is that I used to call my mom all the time. When I came here, my first anxiety was when I came here. I had lived all my life in a Spanish-speaking country. I had come here to the United States on vacation, and now I came here, got married here, and then started my life. My husband always said, "Oh, you got your gray hair just by that first year of anxiety, not knowing anybody, not feeling connected to a church." But actually, when we started going to the different churches and connecting to people, we felt that. And when I came here, I said, okay, my days of pathfinders or helping, doing that kind of endeavors is over. And suddenly, I ended up doing the same things that my mom did when she was in Panama. She always helped people. We always had people from church in our home, helping them with sometimes a plate of food, sometimes just people from the community. They could come over and we would have a game night. And my mother-in-law also did the same thing. So it would be like a family type of, I would say an organization, but our families have been an important part or had an impact on the way how we are today, because my mom, her grandmom, both grandparents were that kind of person. Her grandfather was that kind of person.
Wow.
Always seeking to help others and not judging them, and always, letting them feel included.
What is it about helping others that just makes you like, oh my goodness, I want to keep doing it, or I guess keep craving that aspect?
When you see people in the dumps, and when you see people suddenly flourish, and they're doing well, and they kind of got connected again with their community, that just make me feel, hey, God is using me as a vessel to help others, and that makes me feel happy.
That's awesome. So how have you seen God continue to use you till this day? I guess I will be asking you both that question.
Basically, pathfinders. I'm able to teach them, watch them grow up. I've seen a lot of my friends even, like, they're all the way up here, then some things happen, life happens, and then they're down here. And of course, like, if you were in their position, you would want somebody to help you as well. So being able to just be that person, to be an example to other people, they're like, oh, okay, I want to be like that person. Like, hey, you're helping them get back on their feet. Well, I want to do that for somebody else if I can.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, as a foster social worker, I have seen the worst of the worst. I have seen kids that have been abused by their parents. I have seen kids that have been bullied at school. I have seen kids that they feel that they're nothing, they don't belong to anybody, they don't have a place to be, they don't feel that they are connecting with anybody. And I have been able to touch their lives, and I have been able to go in and sit with them and listen. Sometimes people don't need you to tell them what to do, but they just need somebody to actually just sit with them and listen to what they're going through, and maybe teach them some coping skills to help them navigate what they're going through.
Wow. I mean, again, going back to seeing the worst of the worst, sometimes it's hard to see that. How do you compose yourself? I guess, how do you carry that strong image of, I need to be there for those people?
All through my career, it has been difficult. However, one of the things that I have learned in social worker is that you have to learn to separate and understand where they're at. So one of the things that we learn in social work is meet the patient where they're at. So not just trying to tell them what to do, not trying to tell them this is what you need to accomplish, but let them tell you where they're at and what they want, and then you can help them through that. And that alone is the first step. Let them understand that they're not alone. They're not the only person that is going through whatever mental health situation they are going through, either learning disabilities, autism, anxiety, depression, bipolar, whatever mental health issue they're going through, they can get up and flourish.
So as we kind of wrap this up, one of the last questions that I really just want to emphasize on is, what are signs that we should be looking for where we're like, we can go to them and be like, okay, maybe they need help, but not make it in a way where they're feeling attacked. What are some things that we can do to still give them that guidance or give them that help?
With me at the hospital, especially now during the pandemic, in my 8 years of working at the hospital, I used to see maybe two adolescents maybe per year that going through X or Y or Z in mental health issues. Now I'm seeing maybe 8 per week that are going through mental health issues. And some of the things that I see especially is they become evasive. They don't want to share. Because they don't want to share because they don't want you to judge them or think ill of them or think that, hey, they're crazy. Especially during the pandemic when we were all majorly isolated. And we could not communicate. We could not actually do social things with others. So now they start isolating themselves from the family, from friends. They stop answering the phone. They stop talking to you. They will just answer yes, no, And and you can see they're not really connecting with you. They're not looking to you in your eyes. They're not even answering your questions. They will say, I just want to sleep all day. They will say things that I don't want to talk to anybody. So those are the signs when they start isolating, not wanting to connect, separating from friends. Something is wrong. And the easiest way, just say, hey, I'm here. If you want to talk, I'm here. If you don't want to talk, you just want me to stay with you, I will be here. I just want you to know that I am here for you. Whatever the issue is, just let them know that they are supported.
And again, it goes back to the example that you had brought up where you just prayed for that young man and like how much of an impact that made on him. You brought up a lot of amazing points where, one, we shouldn't judge, two, as a church, we need to come together as a community and be that other home, be that home away from home, because again, sometimes we don't know what is happening behind closed doors, and that's where we need to just be unified and help one another. Well, I just want to thank you guys once again for just speaking with me and just speaking about mental health, as it's such a big, important thing and does need its recognition.
I'm so thankful that you invited us to have this talk. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys both so much. All right, well, there you have it, Ecclesia fam. Again, reach out, speak to someone. Don't be afraid to even reach out to our church itself. We are welcoming. We will welcome you with open arms and we'll be willing to pray for you. Also know that we have a God that is greater than anything that you guys are going through. So please reach out to us because we would love to help you in any way that we can.
I hope you were blessed by today's service. I know I was. To hear the perspective of a social worker when it comes to mental health was so encouraging and also insightful. As a church, I just want us to be aware as we continue this month, take to heart with what these professionals are saying. They've dealt with young people, they've dealt with adults that have mental health. And so every bit of advice that we can get, that we can be a lighthouse, that we can be a church for other people is crucial. So I hope that for next week you'll tune in as we're continuing from another perspective, and I think you're going to really enjoy this because we're going to be interviewing from a pastor's perspective. So I'll see you on the next one, and remember, stay confident in Him.